This is TWiT.
According to Matthew Panzarino, who did, interestingly, get an Apple Card, that TechCrunch's Matthew Panzarino, that today's the day Apple will start rolling it out to select users, none of whom is on this panel.
Select.
So How much Lory spent on Disney and shoes just in the last 10 minutes on that card. That's the big question.
I'm going to get it the minute I can. I, of course, read this and went to my email. The way you'll find out is you'll get an email inviting you, and then you go to the Apple Wallet, and your Apple Wallet will have transformed. You'll have a add card button that lets you add an Apple Card. So, Lory, tell us about the Mobile Nations folk.
So I'm not going to use his name. He said it was okay to, but you know how you don't want people trying to get in touch with him for weird reasons, right? Or trying to get him to get more credit cards. So he applied this morning, and it was super quick. It was so quick that he didn't even take screenshots for us.
Yeah, because he just was so anxious to get it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
His credit limit was $5,000 at 23.99%, which is the highest interest rate that they offer, which I said, wow, really? That high? Can I ask you what your credit score is? And his credit score fits within the good standing category. He's got 724 from Equifax and 730 from Experian.
Well, that's
and they
very
put him at 24% interest rate.
So wait a minute. He has what I would judge to be a very good FICO score, and he's still getting that high interest rate. Wow.
Yeah, which I thought was very interesting.
What do you have to have 750 to get?
Right?
Yeah.
So I was surprised. My credit standing is excellent. So we'll see what I get, because I'm not the highest that you can get, but does that mean that to get the lowest interest rate you have to have like 850? Because I mean the credit score that he has, to me, it should have been more like 15 to 17%, maybe 20, but not the absolute highest interest rate. It's reasonably good credit, So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, maybe are they taking advantage of the fact there are going to be so many people who are going to be signing up for this as their second or third card just to have it, that they know that they can offer whatever terms and people are going to accept it? I hope that that's not the reason.
And I'm sure that you can renegotiate with all credit card companies once you've been there with them for a while, and they we'll give you more credit. You can actually say to them, actually, could you lower my interest rate instead? I'd prefer that. So, it doesn't mean he's permanently at 24%. It just was a surprise to me that his credit score, to me, was good enough to get a decent interest rate, and he got basically the same interest rate that you would give to somebody who has poor credit. So. I don't know. That doesn't seem right.
Panzarino has been answering questions all morning on Twitter. I gather he got one from Apple as a journalist because he said that his credit card was in the mail and had gotten lost, which means he got it earlier. But apparently some normal people will be getting it. None of these journalists, but some normal people will be getting it. He says it uses TransUnion's FICO score. As we know, for your rating, it's the back end is handled by Goldman Sachs. There are no numbers on the card, but it is encoded on the mag strip. Technically, Apple Pay transactions are tokenized, so no number is transmitted. Yes, the card shimmers. When you move your phone, he has an image. He's already somehow charged $286 on his card. So
just for testing purposes, it's tax. Yeah. All those meals are now tax deductible. You were testing out the Apple Card.
No signature is required. That's not, the law has changed, and so signatures are not required. But he says, I live in a small town where some people insist, be prepared to have an argument or don't use it.
That's actually why I do Apple Cash. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I use Apple Cash a lot. I transfer a lot from my account to Apple Cash, specifically because it means I know I won't have to code in, and I know I won't have to sign anything.
That's good. The other thing that happens sometimes, and this, somebody tweeted him saying this, my small town post office says they insist on checking the signature on the back of the card when you use it. There is no signature, and there's no place to put a signature.
Yeah. Keep in mind that just this weekend, I once again had to teach somebody how Tap to Pay works on their own payment terminal. So this could be the funny thing is not to get the card, but I think that you're going to be educating a lot of people who work for retail.
I didn't actually, when I was in Australia, I didn't get any Australian cash. I literally used my phone for every transaction. And even some people there didn't know. They were like, can I use my phone? And they're like, I don't know. So I just put it over and it would take it.
So and that's actually going to change
traveling
like if you don't have to get paper bills.
Not a single paper bill. I mean,
because I always come back with a little extra currency from every country.
Right. I have.
You gave me a Zimbabwe 10,000 pound note. Once.
I have literally a shelf that has all these different. When I'm going to, if I'm going to Cambodia, I take this. If I go to India, I take this. I take, and I have all these spare dollars that I take that I can manage in the airport or whatever. And I was amazed. I was kind of wanted to see how long I could go. Well, it turns out 10 days you can go.
Australian money.
Literally didn't use it. The only place it didn't work, and the irony was not lost on me, was the Apple Store. So not the Apple Store. There was a My Mac or something, and they couldn't get it to work, which I thought that they should probably fix. But every coffee shop, every restaurant, buying, everything was. Even buying the cards to use the train. It was amazing.
Apparently, while there's no number on the card, nor is there a virtual number there is a virtual number in the wallet app, which will get added to your Safari autofill. So you will have a credit card number you can use in places that need a credit card number. I'm not clear if that's a rotating number.
No, it's permanent until you ask for a new one. Okay. If you ever feel like it's been compromised, or just like you for the lulls, you can press a button and ask for a new number. Yeah. But otherwise, it's semi-permanent.
Yeah. I'm just scrolling through Matthew's. He's been answering lots of questions all day. I'm just scrolling through his Twitter. We've already mentioned 1% cash back when you use the card, 2% when you use Apple Pay. This really is all about Apple Pay, not the card. And 3% when you use it to buy Apple gear. Again, that is decent, but not the best in the business. In fact, there's nothing about this card that makes it, from a financial point of view, the best card to choose.
Well, he pointed that out. Like he said, he's a big points person, and he likes to get points for a lot of things, especially travel. And Apple's not playing the points game almost at all. They'll give you cash back on, especially Apple purchases, especially Apple Pay purchases, and a little bit on other things. But they're not making it an offer that people who are points guy sort of type followers are going to want to jump onto.
Yeah. I'm going through it. I think that's pretty much it. He's trying to show it how it shimmers on the watch, but this is pretty hard to get it. But apparently it does.
We tell what he's buying based on the colors.
Look like
Can you tell what he's buying?
Show of hands. How many of you are going to rush out and get one? I was thinking I will. You and you and you. And the only person who's not is Mr. Rene Ritchie,
and he would.
I was thinking of getting one.
I'll let you borrow
now.
my card, Rene.
Here's one thing that discourages me, and Matthew may be wrong on this, but he says when somebody asks how do you cancel it, he says I think you have to call Goldman Sachs. That's
I think you
great.
can also message them too.
Can you message them?
But yeah, you have to get in touch with Goldman Sachs, not Apple. Yeah.
So really, it's a Goldman Sachs card.
You can switch to Android.
Yeah, you must have a Apple Pay capable iPhone to even get this card. And as I said, I think this is really Apple helping to support Apple Pay more than anything else, right?
Yeah. Also, when I signed up, to be notified, they were asking for the email address associated with my iCloud, my Apple account, as opposed to my real email address. So maybe this is also a way to get more people into Apple accounts. I mean, I'm sorry, that's a silly thing, because if you have an iPhone, you already do have an account.
Yeah,
Forget this. I'm sorry.
Your friend's interest rate is at the top, by the way, Lory. The Apple says the interest rate will be 12.99 to 23.99.
Exactly.
So
23.99. That's like the worst you could get.
That's terrible.
And he has good credit.
And he has it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have 28 days after the closing of each bill cycle to pay before you're charged interest. We have mentioned before, you can't buy cryptocurrency with it. Neither can you buy gambling chips. You can't buy what was the other thing? You can't bet on the ponies with it.
Can't buy porn. I mean, we have our limits here, Leo.
We have our limits. Any illegal purpose, obviously.
Well, I immediately thought, well, what if you go to your local weed store to buy,
That's legal in California,
edibles,
right?
Right, but it's federally illegal.
Right.
So what is their standard for legal versus illegal?
Well, I want you to go and try
I think that a
Does
lot
it
of
work at the Google Play Store? That's
Wouldn't that be funny? Sorry, we don't work with Google.
I think most of the across the states that have legalized marijuana, it's still mostly a cash business.
Really?
Yeah, that's true.
You can't
They
go.
have trouble with banking.
No, well,
They're moving
that's
towards
true.
it, but even
I've used a credit card at a dispensary not to buy pot, but to buy a jewel for my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I'd bought marijuana, they would have said, no, you have to pay cash. I think that they were set up to take credit cards. But this is Marin.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's still
You have to take
forward
credit
thinking.
cards.
It depends.
Yes.
It just I know that was an issue in Colorado where the problem is they're afraid of
federal law,
and so they keep
it would make a record of you making that kind of a purchase.
Well, no, it's not so much that it was mostly they can't. It's the banking on the dispensary end.
Oh,
is still the issue.
Credit card companies won't work with them.
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah, well, nor will the Apple Card probably. All right.
Well, it shows you what a lot of FUD can emerge, even with Apple. I saw an editorial the other day about you can't buy cryptocurrency with the Apple credit card. I wonder what else Apple will say you can't buy with it. And if I were the person who replies to such things, I'm saying, because you can, it's the same reason why you can't buy like a gift card with a credit card usually, or you can't buy an unsecured thing. You can't buy a secured method of payment with an unsecured method of payment. I have faith that they're going to let you buy a white suit or a white dress after Labor Day if that's what people are worried about.
I don't know. I think that would be
I-
good if they prevented that.